Today, we are thrilled to be talking with Carrie Brunton of the Red Bucket Events and to hear how her business got started. Carrie has been a client with the Business Advisory Centre Durham, BACD, and a participant at the Starter Company Plus program. BACD strives to be the go-to business resource for individuals looking to start or grow a business in the Durham region. We are one of 53 centres across Ontario. Our mission? That entrepreneurs we serve achieve business success. We invite you to visit our website at bacd.ca to learn more. Carrie Brunton is the proud owner of Red Bucket Events. Carrie uses her experience in event planning and marketing to strategically plan business events that act as an extension of a company's branding. Red Bucket Events teaches companies how to achieve their goals using live or virtual events. Carrie tackles problems like employee retention and engagement, client attraction, public image, and more with customized event planning. She helps her clients forget the stress and enjoy the events they want to host. Welcome, Carrie.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, I'm so glad you said yes. I would love to start it off with a question about who you are and what is your business?
All right. My name is Carrie. I'm 30 years old. I live in Oshawa, Ontario, and I started my own business at the beginning of 2019. And I decided to take all of my event planning experience and I wanted to go out and create a company that would bring a really strategic focus to business events. And not just, most businesses were just treating them as, we're doing this to have fun. We're doing this as a one day are you off thing. And I want them to look at it as part of their business plan and part of an actual plan to reach goals.
Okay.
And to come at it with that strategic focus.
Yeah, and you actually brought attention to, it's especially geared to businesses that are looking to retain employees or to attract new clients, even to retain their existing customer base. Like that's so important. Where or who do you serve? Who would you say is your ideal area, location-wise, that you serve? And or give an example of a company that probably benefits the most from your expertise.
So my ideal client is based in Toronto, York region, or Durham. I will also take work in Peel, Halton, and Niagara, but York, Durham, and Toronto are my main areas. As far as my ideal client, it's a business with 30 or more employees that really cares about their employees and their public image and wants to take care of them and their business. So there has to be a lot of care behind it, a lot of concern, not just we're doing this because I guess it'll be good. No, we're doing this because we want things to be better. We want our clients to feel like how amazing we think they are. We want our employees to feel as amazing as we know they are. I look for that care.
Absolutely. And what I'm hearing is sort of that it's part of their company culture.
Yes.
As you said, part of the all-around strategy. As you mentioned, you started this in 2019. So in effect, you're just over a year in business. And I know that a lot of individuals who are considering starting a business or maybe have just starting a business, there are lots of learning when you first start or a lot of different things to navigate. And sometimes we really don't know what we don't know. What are some of your go-to resources for guidance in your business?
I think it's really important to find mentors and not just one mentor, because there's always going to be a time when you have a question that someone doesn't have the answer, but to find several mentors. And so I have used the BACD and it's been a phenomenal resource. And then I have found other mentors through different networking groups. So I met my business coach through Hubbing. I've met through event planning specific groups. I've met numerous event planners who started their own business and been able to turn to and talk to them. And so I think it's really important just to have people that you can talk to and bounce ideas off and go, hey, am I nuts here? And or like, am I charging the wrong amount? Or, hey, my client's complaining that this is way too much money. Is it, or are they just trying to save money on their own side? And so having those people that you can turn to, I think, is just one of the most important things ever. But I also think it's good just to have like little things like blogs and podcasts and things like that that you really enjoy, because they'll give you information that you weren't necessarily specifically looking for. It's a more general, oh, hey, I didn't think of that. I'll read more about that today kind of information source.
Excellent. And I know one of the first places that our paths crossed was at an Ajax Pickering Board of Trade event, which was a networking event. And I know that it's one of those things that even we bring up in the program and at BACD, how it's so vital and important to start growing out your network as soon as you can. You're very good at it, because at least that's what I witnessed and experienced. And I thought, she's onto something. Do you have any tips or tricks to help somebody who's probably just getting their foot in the door and cautiously approaching networking, which I understand and I know even starting out in the beginning can be a little bit intimidating? Any advice?
For starters, be yourself. Like relax. Everyone else in that room is also a human being. Everyone else has screwed up at least as many times as you have, maybe more. And everyone was a beginner at some point too. A lot of groups are very friendly and very welcoming. And so try a lot of different ones, because the vibe and the group and the people it attracts are going to change from group to group. So you're going to find your favorite ones. I love the Ajax Pickering Chamber. They do a really good job of, I like that they actually force you to talk to different people. Like, you can't just plant yourself in one place and only talk to 3 people for the night. They will force you to meet other people, which I love. And then they also give you conversation starting questions to help break the ice and help you get something to focus on. So I think a group like that would be really good for someone who's a little more on the shy side, someone who has trouble walking up to people and saying, hi, because I know that when I go to those events, I'm like a little intimidating to some people, because I'll go up to anybody and start a conversation because that's just who I am. Mm-hmm. But I understand that I've gone with a lot of other people who are like, oh my God, what are you doing? Like, why are you leaving me? Like, and it's like, okay, breathe. And then the other thing is try to just create a little icebreaker or a little icebreaker for yourself if you're trying to introduce yourself to people. So one of my favorite things is to just pick if they have an item of clothing you really like, or their hairstyles, or they have a unique hair color or something. Just start with a compliment. It's just a great, I love your scarf. Where did you get it? Mm-hmm. Like it's a little more natural to you. It's very easy for you to bring that up. It's not super intimidating, hopefully. And afterwards you can follow that up with, hi, I'm Louise and I just started my business. This is my first time here.
I like what you just said. So a couple of takeaways there. The tip about starting with a compliment to break the ice is so great, because it brings the focus onto the individual. And most individuals find it easier. Sometimes it's hard for them to open up just about themselves. So having them engage in that conversation does create that opening. And I would, instead of using the word force, I was giggling when you said force, because I'm thinking somebody who's intimidating, that word, you're going to be forced to speak to people. It's a facilitation, which I think is great, because somebody leads the conversation. That way, I like that, because sometimes it's all expected for you to start it can be really, really difficult, especially if you're the newbie in the room. But somebody facilitating it allows to open that. So everybody has an opportunity to introduce themselves without anyone feeling that pressure. So I get it.
You're right. Force was the wrong choice of words there. Force sounds a lot more intimidating than it actually is. It's much more gentle. It's more like, okay, we would like you to go sit at table number 4, and there will be a discussion question there for you. It's not like I'm going to stand behind you and stab you with a knife until you start talking. Like, it's not quite that violent.
No.
Probably should have used the word facilitate, but they do a wonderful job of helping people meet each other and break that ice and start those conversations. So a group like that is definitely what I would look for a shyer person.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're so right. Get comfortable, visit a few, get a sense of who's in the room, and really feel it. Did you enjoy that? Would you go again? Would you share it to others? Because those are very good indicators that it was a good fit. So that's pretty cool. And if somebody's looking for a place to start, or not even sure where these networking groups or organizations are, we have a list under our resources tab on the bacd.ca website, And so under resources, it's under networking. So just putting it out there. Thanks for that, Carrie. And I loved it because you really did. You worked that room. I was like, whoa. So that's another thing. If you're looking for a mentor in networking, Carrie may just be able to help you.
I would love to help. Absolutely.
Which would be awesome. I would now say, so a couple more questions. What piece of advice would you give to someone who wants to become a business owner? That would be my second to last question.
How easy are you going to give up? Because the answer can be never. It needs to be never. Like, you need to feel like you were going to attack this. And if, and you can have a bad day and be like, oh my God, I'm not sure I want to do this. But the next day you're going to get up and go back at it. So you have to be ready to not give up ever. And because you are probably going to get kicked in the teeth a whole bunch. You are going to get a whole ton of people say no to you. You are going to lose clients. You are going to screw up a proposal. You're pretty much going to do everything wrong. Let's get real. Like, that's how we learn. That's how human beings learn. And that's definitely how I learn. And so you need to be able to pick yourself up. So if you can pick yourself up and if you can keep going, even when nothing is going right, you have my blessing to go start a business.
Wow. I mean, that's a real conversation, right? Like that's, you've been doing this now for just over a year. So you're talking from firsthand experience. And the exciting thing is you are still in it. You are still here. You're still doing it. And despite everything that's been going on, especially for an event planning business. But I've seen the resilience in you. You've pivoted. You're now offering the virtual events. You're offering, the support for people who are looking still to host birthday parties and graduations and retirements for businesses and for companies. The still employment engagement is probably even more necessary right now because so many of us are working from home and in very isolated situations. So that retention is so important. So I mean, it's a great to see that you've been able to do all of these things and support your clients that way. So now the last question, and it's actually a twofold. So what is your superpower? I know you wrote it down and we put it in the cover. So to explain what you mean by that. And the last one, or in conjunction to that, is what is your next move going forward?
Okay. So my superpower is the ability to be both strategic and creative, and to come up with things that are unique and out of the box, and to solve problems in a way that you necessarily didn't think of at first. And I love to bring people new ideas and say, well, what if you do this? Because the littlest change in an event can have a big effect and have people like remembering 4 years later. Do you remember that the place cards at that event were little typewriters? How insane was that? And that's such a little thing, but it's the thing people remember. Right? When you ask people what they remember about weddings, they remember very little. They generally remember the general atmosphere. If they're me, they remember the food. and they remember like posing for a stupid picture. It's all vague and blurry. But when you have a really unique little detail, that stays with them. The first time you saw a donut wall, that stays with you. And so I love bringing those, not only a creative idea, but one that ties back into your goals and that we can make a strategic move with. And so it ties into your goals. It emphasizes your brand and all of those things. As for where I'm going now, I am coordinating virtual events for the holiday parties, which I'm excited about. And I've also introduced a new service where I'm doing webinar coaching, which I'm having so much fun with. And so I sit down and I watch your webinar presentation and I take notes. I give you a scorecard and a written report. And then we do another Zoom call where I teach you how to make it better. And we go through and I say, okay, in this section where you say that you need to fix this problem now, I want you to get like mad and angry about it and get in their face. Not you need to fix this problem now. You need to fix this problem now. And I sit there and I show them the little differences. And maybe it's me showing them how to use different technical features on Zoom. And maybe it's me saying, you know what, I want you to take this off Zoom and put it on a different platform altogether. And I sit there and I work through the stages with them. And it's been so much fun so far. And people are seeing a big difference. And they're having more fun doing their webinars because of it. So it's been such a fun service to be able to offer. And I
That's
think it really
excellent.
plays nicely into all of my experience, not even just my event planning experience, but also the marketing, the copywriting, all of those things that I now get to bring together and present to them.
And can all of this be found on the redbucketevents.ca website?
Most of it can. I don't have a page promoting the webinar service quite yet, so you'll have to reach out to me directly for that, but it will be up soon.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, Carrie, it's been such a pleasure to speak to you and to catch up and find out what's new and exciting in your world right now. I appreciate you sharing with us and our listeners a little bit about your adventure so far. I call entrepreneurship an adventure.
It is. It's a wonderful adventure.
It is a wonderful adventure. I tell people that all the time. Not one for the faint of heart or one who is afraid of roller coaster rides, but it is a lot of it's definitely never 2 days the same, that's for sure. So I appreciate your time, and again I thank you. And to our listeners, I hope you stay tuned for our next podcast. Until then, stay safe, be well, and visit us at bacd.ca. Thank you.